This is KPRN-DB, broadcasting worldwide from Southeast Oklahoma, USA to parts unknown. Are you storing food? Many preppers are storing food for months and years, but only have enough fuel stored for days or weeks. Stretch your fuel storage by harnessing the power of the sun with a sun oven. Food can be baked, boiled, or steamed at temperatures of 360 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit with the power of the sun. Depending on where you are located, you can use the sun for 50 to 80% of your cooking, allowing you to preserve your fuel storage for rainy days. Sun-baked foods stay moister and have less shrinkage and don't burn. Sun-baked roasts are tastier and more succulent, and sun-baked bread has unparalleled taste and texture. Water can be heated in a sun oven for purification or personal hygiene. For the past 25 years, sun ovens have been proudly made in the U.S. They are durable, have a long life, and come with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For a discount coupon, email podcast@sunoven.com. That's podcast@sunoven.com.
Feeling like there are too many pressures and demands on you? Losing sleep worrying about tests and schoolwork? Eating on the run because your schedule is just too busy? You may be under too much stress, and it may be affecting your mind. Get your mental edge back with Nootropic Mind Power from mindregard.com. Nootropic Mind Power is not a drug, but a natural supplement. Its 12 powerful ingredients are natural and non-GMO, plus it's gluten-free, wheat-free, and formulated by Americans for Americans by an NSF-certified laboratory. Nootropic Mind Power is available at mindregard.com, spelled MINDREGARD.com, and comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. Free your mind with Nootropic Mind Power cognitive supplement from mindregard.com. Mind Regard. Clearly see tomorrow and yesterday. Today.
The truth is out there. Knowledge is power. This is the Prepper Podcast Radio Network.
Listening to the Region 10 Report with your host, Susanne Posel from OccupyCorporatism.com, where the alternative media gets their news. This show will expose the elite domination plan, disinfo agents, propaganda, corporate control, and the UN plan to strip the world of its freedom and the U.S. of its Constitution. This is the Region 10 Report with Susanne Posel, bringing you the real truth behind the news.
We're in the radio! Oh! Hey everyone, this is Susanne Posel with the Region 10 Report. Thank you for joining us. This is episode number 18. The Region 10 Report is broadcast on American Freedom Radio from 1 to 3 Pacific time now. It's a 2-hour show and I'm excited. I have some awesome guests today. We are also syndicated on Prepper Podcast and UCY.TV, Shoutcast, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, downloads, and you can listen to previous episodes on the AFR archives, or you can go to radio.occupycorporatism.com. I wanted to thank the wonderful listeners for all of your emails of support. Thank you. I appreciate it more than I can say. I really do. Thank you very much for everything this week. It's been wonderful, and last week as well. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or listen or sign up for our RSS feed to get the latest from OccupyCorporatism.com. Now, today, I have 2 wonderful special guests. Alec Scheer from We Are 1776. He is an amazing activist. He's written some open letters to Obama, and he was just recently speaking at the Washington State Legislature about an anti-NDAA bill and speaking at a peace rally. I also have Mikael Thalen. He is a wonderful journalist and writer for The Examiner. And so I'd like to bring you guys on. Mikael, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. And I'm mispronouncing your first name again.
Yeah, it's Mikael. Crazy Swedish name.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
And I think, Alec, are you there?
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Hi. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Now, Alec, I wanted to start with you because what impresses me the most is how intelligent you are at 16 to actually get up and do something.
Right, yeah.
Well, most 16-year-olds are not thinking about what's going to happen in 20 years. And it's amazing to me that you're so involved and wanting to actually change things. That's what impresses me the most.
Thank you, yeah. It's, I guess it's a personal decision. I really like what I'm doing, and it's also because I see the country going down the handbasket, so the multiplier effect.
Right. I have 2 small children, which is why I do this. And tell me, what inspired you to write these open letters to Obama? And I know that you've written several of them.
It's more because Obama just pisses me off in general. And then when the white paper comes out of the administration, which pretty much doesn't define who they can drone bomb, it pretty much leaves that an open question. But if you reference to all the documents that have come out, like Project Megiddo, and I mean, you're familiar with all of them, it pretty much outlines that Americans can be drone bombed, and that really made me rather angry. So I decided to vent my anger into a letter and send it to Obama.
A lot of people are doing that, and I see that, you know, it might sound a little bit crazy, but there's all these petitions going up on whitehouse.gov, We the People website, and even though most of them are probably not going to get anywhere, the idea that people are actually willing to stand up and voice their real opinion in a public forum is very impressive to me, because this is something that we haven't done in a couple of decades, you know, maybe not since the 60s, where people actually were brave enough to stand up and say something.
Yeah, correct.
So what about this last trip you went up to Washington State? Tell us about speaking to the legislature.
Yeah, that was interesting. They heard more bills than just 1581, so we were sitting there, and the drone bill was up first. I think it's HB 1771, and they had all these drone lobbyists come up there and start lobbying against the drone bill. But anyways, I went up there and testified for 1581, because that's the bill that would nullify Section 1021 to the House Defense Authorization Act, and sadly it didn't make it through the committee. The committee didn't pass it? No, they didn't. They just passed the drone bill.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is a bit better, because the 1581 bill is going to go back through the second session.
Wow. Did you do this peace rally before or after you went to the legislature?
I went to the legislature on Thursday, and then I went to the pro-peace rally on Saturday evening.
How did you feel doing that?
It was interesting. It was good to speak in front of the public again, but yeah, it was pretty fun. It's great to see those type of movements come back alive, like they were in the Bush administration.
Did you find it interesting sitting at the state capitol talking with the politicians? You know, because we have this idea of what the politicians are like, the idea that we get from watching them on YouTube or C-SPAN or in the news. Did you find that it was the same sort of air that politicians have, the idea that we've been planted, you know, in the mainstream?
Yeah, I think they're really respectable people, obviously. And when I was sitting in there, you can tell who's working with lobbyists and who aren't.
Right.
But, the people I was talking to, they like Jason Overstreet, the representative who drafted 1581. He's a really laid-back guy. He's a libertarian-leaning Republican, so I can't really say for all of them, because I hung around more freedom-oriented politicians when I was there.
Right, because I don't deal with politicians. I just talk about them and expose what they're doing, but I don't have to deal with these people directly, other than emailing them and calling them when I feel like I need to voice my opinion. But you're, in fact, standing up and actually interacting with these people. And so, and you know that your agenda is anti their agenda.
Right, yeah. It's, I mean, they have a lot of pressure from the lobbyists. Obviously, that's a big factor in their policy decisions. And, but other than that, they're really nice people.
Right.
They generally like to work from their own benefit instead of their constituents, which is what they're supposed to do.
So what do you hope to gain from these open letters from Obama? I mean, did you think that he would be reading them, or did it matter to you Did you just want everyone to understand how you felt and maybe inspire them to voice their opinion as well?
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to gain anything from it. I knew he wasn't going to read it or reply, so it was generally just to inspire other people.
Have you seen, or what kind of response have you seen from those letters?
Not the response I thought I'd see. It was just more people praising me for what I did, but I didn't really. I'd rather have them go out and do something similar or go out and be active themselves.
And are you seeing any evidence of that?
No, not really. Not at all.
That's very disheartening.
Yeah, it's fine. You just got to keep pushing, I guess. When I start doing more of the public testimonies, I hope it's going to inspire some more people.
When you were at the pro rally, what kind of sense did you get from the crowd? I mean, because I've been to public events and it almost seems like everybody gets into a mob mentality. Do you think that there were inspired people there that are actually trying to affect change, or just meeting at a rally?
It was primarily a meeting at the rally. It was small and it was a really peaceful rally, but there were some people there that are affiliated with the Republican Party and the Libertarian Party who are affecting change. But the other people, I think, are just activists who are doing more of the groundwork, I guess you could say.
Like handing out flyers and trying to get people to
awareness,
to bring awareness. Where do you think that's going to go? I mean, I'm very affected by that people are listening to the information and not acting upon it to affect change, so that they don't have to live like this. Where do you see the line between consuming information and acting on your new paradigm or your new principles?
At what point you start acting after reading the information?
When did you realize that everything isn't the way you were told it was?
Sorry, I misunderstood. But I don't know. That's a hard question. I think I've always been like that because I've always skipped public school, so I never got fully indoctrinated. And my grandpa and my sister, they worked for the Ron Paul campaign in 2008, and my dad's always been talking about 9/11 and how it was an inside job. So I think it's been always throughout my whole life, and just in the past year, it's really taken off.
And so is that around the time this past year that you put We Are 1776.org together and decided that you were actually going to do something instead of just listening to all of this information and knowing that there's something wrong?
Yeah. I started a blog in March 19th, and that's when I followed your website and Alex Jones' website. And then in early June, I started We Are 1776.
And so what is now I'm very happy because you're part of the Real Guerrilla Media. So I'm excited because I want to bring in people that are actually doing something, to inspire people to actually do something. I think the more people see that there are people that are doing it, not just sporadically, but they can go and look and see a huge list of people all across the country that are actually changing like you are doing. It would hopefully inspire people to do more, and then they can contact you and maybe, if they're in your area, get together with you. So I'm very excited to say that you're part of that because Thank
you. Yeah, I'm glad for the opportunity.
And no, I'm proud to have the opportunity to work with you because I've gotten to the point where I've consumed enough information, and now I want to be part of things that are actually changing or trying to change, people that are trying to change, like the 2 gun rallies that we just had this past weekend and then 2 weekends before that. That was amazing to me. In such a short amount of time, these rallies all across the country.
Yeah, one thing I'd suggest is that we need to start doing more public testimonies at hearings because, despite what people say, it actually, when you sit in there, it actually plays a role in the decision, I noticed.
What did you say to them?
Well, when I went up there, I said I supported the bill because it wasn't going to nullify Section 1021, and I gave an explanation of what Section 1021 to the NDAA does to the people, to the representatives who might not have read the bill. And that's pretty much what I said. And at the end, I just said I urge the committee to pass this bill so it can be voted on, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But when you were preparing